Now, Robert De Niro has yelled at his former assistant in a Manhattan courtroom after she sued him for abusive and misogynistic behaviour.
Yeah, Graham Chase Robinson is seeking $12 million in damages from the Oscar-winning actor, who is also countersuing her in the same trial. De Niro says Robinson stole things from him, including 5 million airline points, and he wants 3 years' worth of her salary returned.
Joining us now is Amanda Devlin, who's assistant showbiz editor at The Sun. Welcome, Amanda. Now, Robert De Niro, you know, one of Hollywood's biggest stars. He's been around here since the Jurassic Age. Great actor, though, of course. But I would suggest we can't prejudge what the court is going to decide. But he's not coming out of this well, is he? She's talking about how when she worked for him, she was his $300,000 a year vice president of his production company, which is called Canal Productions, based in New York. She said that he treated her like, you know, like a sort of skivvy and gave her all these female tasks while male employees went about their business. She was sent to the shops and told to scratch his back. He's admitted this, and at a certain point yesterday, he stood up and lost his temper and screamed across the court.
He screamed.
The mask slip.
He said, "Shame on you, Graham Chase Robinson." If it was me, I'd have said, "Why are you called Graham Chase Robinson? That's a bloke's name."
It's a bloke's
However,
name. That's misogynistic.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry. I do apologise.
She'll be after you,
But
Kat.
That's a real
not a great
part of the
moment.
story
Not
here.
a great moment for De Niro. Though,
Absolutely not. I mean, firstly, it's such a fascinating insight. I love that Americans just sue for anything and everything, because you just get this access, that insight into what the person's really like. Because he's a massive A-list star, you know, won Oscars. He's 80 years old. And now we're kind of seeing this, apparently, true colours kind of coming out and all these allegations. And it's not painting him in a good light. And especially standing up and shouting, "Shame on you," to this woman who's accusing him of such things. And they are, I mean, some of them are quite ridiculous. I mean, they're things like getting a martini ordered and put it in an Uber to get over to him
like
late at night.
or something, wasn't it?
This, like you said, you mentioned scratching of the back.
Yeah.
I mean, she was paid a really hefty wage.
Yeah.
And she worked there for about 11 years.
Yeah, she worked there a long time.
I mean, I'm quite divided on it. People online are quite, his fans are quite divided on it, because, I mean, it's not painting him in a nice way, but it does sort of make you think, well, God, don't mind suing for $12 million.
Well,
no,
it
I mean,
seems
it's a huge
opportunistic,
amount,
doesn't it? It
and
does seem...
of course, and you know, you don't want anyone to suffer. You don't want anyone to have gone through something bad. But it does seem a little bit far-fetched in some of the things that
He keeps screaming it's nonsense.
Isn't he claiming, though, that she basically just used to sit and watch Netflix, essentially?
Well, that's what he's saying.
That's what he says. But it feels like sort of Depp and Heard all over again, where there's two people suing and counter-suing. You're the more dreadful person, no, you're the more dreadful person, while everyone sits back and says, you're both dreadful.
That's exactly
And the people who win
Yeah.
out of this are the lawyers.
Yeah, oh, all that money, can you imagine? I'd be great at sitting and being paid to watch Netflix. I think I'd do a great job at that. For
scratching our backs for that.
$300,000, absolutely. But there's all of that money
It's
that's
called working from home.
For that money, yeah, that's great. But there's so much within that we're getting to know about a Hollywood star that you just don't want to. You want him to be up there as this, you know, Hollywood star, and he's untouchable and things. And being in there, it's sort of bringing him down, and it's just not a nice look.
I've interviewed Robert De Niro twice, and somebody said to me, "What's he like to interview?" I said, "Well, basically monosyllabic. He is not the most effusive of characters around journalists."
You can see some of the things that she says and accuses him of. You can see him losing his temper and being grumpy. You know, I think.
And this is the point, though, isn't it?
Being described as a grumpy old
yesterday.
man. He's 80 years old, and he's just been losing his temper.
But when he lost his temper in court yesterday, he screamed across, "Shame on you!" What's her name again?
Graham.
Shame on you,
Graham.
Bob. Jack, Dave, whatever your name is. Shame on you, Graham Chase Robinson. I mean, I mean, as I say, let's not prejudge the case, but she might argue, well, this kind of proves my point.
I would say that. It was one of those moments where I bet can you imagine his lawyers? They've been great one. We're trying to help you out here, and look what you've done.
Oh, no, they might think this is two weeks more on the clock running.
Yeah.
They'll be like, go on,
Probably.
do it more,
Yeah.
do it more. Let's drag this out even further.
And her airlines thing, I mean, things like that should be quite easy to find out whether that's true or not. And I think it's about 2 weeks that the trial's going to run, and we'll find out.
Two weeks.
But we've been
2
going.
weeks.
It's been
This is going to be fun.
It's been going on for 4 years. They've been kind of battling to get to this stage, and now they finally are. He obviously thinks it's complete nonsense. He doesn't want it to be going on. He doesn't want to be there because it's making him look awful. Whether he's guilty or not, no one wins in this scenario.
Yeah, at one point he then partner said, "Oh, you know, you've got to get rid of this girl," and he apparently rounded on his partner and said, "No one tells me what to do in my office." So he's certainly king of his own kingdom, I think.
I knew you'd give us a good accent during this. I knew that you would give the accent, you would deliver.
Yeah, I can do my Robert De Niro impression, but that's for another time.
Please.
Do I do it? Do I do a Robert De Niro
or just accents
impression?
in general. I like your
Well,
accent.
I'll work on it overnight. I'll do it tomorrow. Thanks, Amanda. Amanda Devlin from The Sun. There's